So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, I wanted to welcome everybody. Thank you very much for joining us today. We got two personalities that we wanted to look at today. It's the appearance day of Gopal Bhatt Goswami and the disappearance day of Ramachandra Kaviraj. So I'd like to seek your good wishes and your blessings so that we can endeavor to get the blessings of these two great personalities and have a look at their lives. Of course, it's a very brief look. We'll never be able to do justice to these personalities, but we can at least make a little effort. So Gopal Bhatt Goswami is one of the 6 Goswamis. This is Sanatan, Rupa, Raghunath Das, Gopal Bhatt. And then we have Raghunath Bhatt and Jiva Goswami. So here is Gopal Bhatt Goswami. So these 6 Goswamis are the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, who are very important in our spiritual tradition. Okay, so let's have a look at him. Over 500 years ago, Krishna appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he traveled all over Bharat preaching the holy names of the Lord. He went to South Bharat in 1511, sorry, yeah. And that was after he took sannyas. He took sannyas in 1500, and then he went to South India in 1511. And when he reached Srirangam, it was the rainy season, and there in Srirangam is the Ranganath temple, very beautiful, huge temple. And the head priest was Venkat Bhatt Goswami. So he invited Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to stay with him for the 4 months of the rainy season, because it rains a lot. So, and it's also the time when Chaturmasya is observed. So the reason that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to South India was actually for his pure devotee Gopal Bhatt, who was the son of Venkat Bhatt. Gopal Bhatt was about 8 years old when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to their home, and he was completely enamored by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with him, and he would serve him daily, and he would be listening very carefully, a little bit like Riyansh here. Riyansh is only 7 and he's listening so nicely. Oh, yes, Riyansh.
Prabhuji, you told us that time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to that big temple and the Venkat Bhatt Goswami invited him to stay 4 months at the Chaturmas. This also happened in Narada Muni's story when the Bhaktivedanta came to Narada Muni's hut when he was 5 years old only.
Did he? Did they? I can't remember that now. That's amazing. Very good. Good memory, young man.
Yeah. It's a chapter.
Okay. Oh, that's right. When he was a little boy. Yeah, you're right.
Life.
Yes. Very good. Yes. Hey, you really like Narad Muni, huh? Well done. So Venkat Bhatt, he was, of course, the tradition in the south, especially in the Ranganath temple, because Ranganath refers to Lord Vishnu. So Venkat Bhatt, they were worshippers of Lakshmi Narayan, and they would see no difference between Narayan and Krishna. And in one sense, there is no difference between Narayan and Krishna. But then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained the philosophy of Raganuga Bhakti, which is where spontaneous devotion to Krishna, as opposed to regulated devotion to Narayan. And Mahaprabhu explained that Narayan, the opulent form of Krishna, has only 60 characteristics compared to Krishna, who has 64. So this was, he wanted to explain to Gopal Bhatt difference between Narayan and Krishna. And Narayan himself meditates upon Krishna with the wish to enter the Ras dance, as does goddess Lakshmi. She meditates on Krishna to do the same. So at one point, in order to convince Venkat Bhatt that Krishna is the original supreme personality of Godhead, with whom everything is included, he asked Venkat Bhatt the question, why does Lakshmi Devi also run after Krishna? And Venkat Bhatt said, well, that's not unusual because Narayan, Krishna is Narayan, Lakshmi loves Narayan, and Narayan is also Krishna, so that's not unusual. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, yeah, good answer. But then why does Lakshmi Devi not get entrance into the Ras Leela? To that question, Venkat Bhatt had no answer. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained that her mood is one of awe and reverence towards Narayan. And the mood in Vrindavan is Raganuga. It's spontaneous devotion. Awe and reverence doesn't work there. Krishna is enamored by spontaneous bhakti at the level of the gopis. So that was explained to Venkat Bhatt, and when Venkat Bhatt understood that Krishna's position is supreme. Okay. So the son of Venkat Bhatt, Gopal Bhatt, had already realized that Mahaprabhu was none other than Krishna, even before his father had realized. Mahaprabhu revealed himself as Krishna to Venkat Bhatt at that time. And that completely convinced Venkat that Mahaprabhu is, one, he's Krishna, but also Krishna is supreme, even more than Narayan. Mahaprabhu told Venkat Bhatt that Gopal Bhatt is not an ordinary human. He's an incarnation of a gopi or a manjari called Guna Manjari. And Kavi Kannapurna Pura, he says Ananga Manjari, but typically it's explained that Guna Manjari is Gopal Bhatt in Vrindavan, and a personal associate of Radha and Krishna. Mahaprabhu initiated Gopal Bhatt, I think perhaps the only disciple of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I might be wrong on that, but he didn't initiate many. So he initiated Gopal Bhatt at the age of 8, and he instructed him that in due course of time, you come and live in Vrindavan. Of course, Gopal Bhatt, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left, was devastated. He wanted to go with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as did his father, Venkat Bhatt. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu forbade them, said, you stay where you are. So he was given the instruction to preach the philosophy of devotion with Rupa and Sanatana Goswami and rediscover the sacred places where Radha and Krishna performed their pastimes. So when his parents passed away, Gopal Bhatt left and he went to Vrindavan. He literally ran to Vrindavan, crying, dancing, chanting, fully focused on Radha and Krishna in the holy land of Vrindavan. Sometimes he became unconscious for hours while meditating, and his journey was being made more difficult by some of these challenges. One day, Gopal Bhatt met a Brahmin boy who helped him travel. He guided him on the right route and cooked and cared for Gopal Bhatt. So Gopal Bhatt spent his time living in Vrindavan doing kirtan, giving kathas, and writing. He was also a writer. He chose to live at the place where Radharani experienced separation from Krishna, where he disappeared from the Ras Leela one time. So, and Mahaprabhu departed from the world in separation from Radha, from Mahaprabhu. Gopal Bhatt, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, they just could not tolerate that. They saw a vision of Mahaprabhu when he told Rupa and Sanatan to worship Govind Dev and Madan Mohan. And Madhu Pandit was worshipping Gopinath. So these are the three principal deities that were there in Vrindavan. We'll see them in a minute. And he told Gopal Bhatt to preach and go to the Gandaki river. So he didn't say to him, worship already deity. And he said, where you will find Shalagram Shilas. And he said, you will actually get 12. And the first of the 12 will be a Damodar Shila. Each Shila is unique by its markings. He is identified. And Mahaprabhu said, don't worry, I will reside in that Shila. I will be always with you. This is fantastic, amazing. Gopal Bhatt traveled to Gandaki River as per Mahaprabhu's instructions. En route, he met Gopinath, a young boy who Gopal Bhatt initiates, realizing he's a pure devotee. And Gopinath was serving him for the rest of his life. At Gandaki River, Gopal Bhatt Goswami finds the Damodar Shila Mahaprabhu had mentioned, along with the other 11 Shilas. They actually jump onto his hands. Yes, Riyanj?
Prabhuji, you told that presiding deity is in Vrindavan, and in that bhajan Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna, that second, no, in that first paragraph only, in first paragraph, second line, it tells Shri Govinda Gopinath Madana Mohan.
Very good. That's absolutely right. Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan. You know the one?
Mhm.
Very good. Yes.
Govinda, Gopal.
Those are the main three deities in Vrindavan. But then we'll talk about Gopal Bhatt's deity as well in a minute. So Nepal, let's have a little journey. Hope you all got your passports. So this pastime is that Vishnu becomes the Annapurna mountain, and the stones from this mountain would fall into the Gandaki river. This was where Tulsi Mani cursed him to become a stone because he had a stone-like heart, if devotees recall the pastime. And Vishnu said, okay, if I'm going to be a stone, you're going to be the trees and the river and the leaves, which will be always offered to me, Tulsi. These stones are directly Vishnu, known as Shaligram Shila. Markings are made by worms over time, and Shila are identified accordingly. So this is where the mountain is, and this is the Gandaki River. So this is Nepal, and yeah, the Gandaki River goes around, I think. But anyway, yeah, it's here. This is the valley, the river, and these Shilas are found in these rivers. We haven't been there personally. This is the Annapurna mountain. Yes, Rohit. So we were very fortunate. A few years ago, we were gifted this beautiful Shila. And we actually went to a priest, one of the main priests in the Radha Raman temple, who is a world expert. He's written books on the identity of different Shilas. And nobody could tell us which Shila this was. So he had a look for about 10 minutes. He was looking, he was in his nightgown, early morning. And he identified him as Anantashesh. So we were very fortunate. And, oh, yeah, go on.
Yeah, just say that these are the markings of
Go on.
Yeah, at the bottom you can see it's like a mouth, but these are actually markings of the snake, which actually coil around up there.
Yeah, there's a coil going all the way around. And then our wonderful devotee in Mayapur, Madhura, she painted the deity and we're worshipping every day. And then she also gifted us Balaram from Dwarka Shila. So we're very privileged and honored to be able to do a little seva to them every day. And it is little. So then Gopal Bhatt, he returned to Vrindavan and he started worshipping the Shilas. This is Gopal Bhatt, fresh looking. And the Shila is there. Rupa Goswami was serving Govindaji, Sanatan Goswami was worshipping Madan Mohan, and Madhu Pandit, as we discussed, was worshipping Gopinath. And Gopal Bhatt, he used to dress the deities and adore the face of Govindji, the chest of Gopinath, and the feet of Madan Mohan. So Gopal Bhatt, he loved worshipping these deities. So he wanted to also worship a deity with a form, because Shalagram is stone, is round. Usually.
Can't dress him.
Can't dress him, can't do much. So whilst he was worshipping the deities, he also had this desire to worship them. And one day, many clothes were gifted to Gopal Bhatt with ornaments and jewelry. So that just increased his desire to worship the deity. And he began crying, saying to the Lord that you appeared from a pillar in the form of Nrsimha for Prahlad. But for Gopal Bhatt, you're not fulfilling his desire. And he can't dress you in the way he'd like to dress you, worship you. And in this way, he fell asleep crying. But Krishna came to him in a dream and assured him, don't worry, one day it will be fulfilled. Now, hang on, there you go. So these are the pictures. Why did that happen? Okay. So this is Radha Govindji in Vrindavan. Actually, the original deities now are in Jaipur, but these are the ones actually in Jaipur. But there is a Radha Govind temple in Vrindavan, and they have also installed Radha Govindji in that temple. But these are the deities worshipped in Jaipur. And this is Radha Gopinath. Again, these deities are, I think, Korelu or something like that, a little different place. But the original deity is somewhere else, not in Vrindavan. But these are deities in Vrindavan. Very beautiful, Gopinath. And Madan Mohan, extraordinarily beautiful. And I think they're the ones in Koroli. Oh yeah, Koroli, that's it. And where's the other ones? I don't put that. So this is Radha Madan Mohan. Again, these deities are actually in Vrindavan. Very, very beautiful. The original deities are in Karoli. So we've been through this. So, okay, no, we haven't. Sorry. Yes. Good. The next morning, Gopal Bhatt awoke to find only 11 of his Shilas while he was doing his morning puja. Then he realized that his Damodar Shila, the main Shila, had taken the beautiful form of Krishna. And the deity has the face of Govindji, the broad chest of Gopinath, and the soft lotus feet like Madan Mohan. So here we go again. So we've been through that. The deity manifested from the love of Gopal Bhatt Goswami. The place Gopal Bhatt Goswami chose for his bhajan was the spot where Krishna had disappeared from Ras Leela, and Radharani had experienced deep pangs of separation. This is the exact place where the deity self-manifested from the Damodar Shila. So very interesting. And the Goswamis therefore named the deity Radha Raman. Raman means having great joy from the separation of Krishna. So much thinking about Krishna that you're completely with Krishna. This was the position of Radharani. So this is the deity, and we'll see him in a minute. Radharaman appeared out of Gopal Bhatt Goswami's deep love and desire. Lord Chaitanya too wanted to remain in a manifest form after his departure from the world. He had explained that he would remain present in the Damodar Shila. So devotees take darshan of Krishna and Gaura in one form in Radha Ramanji. And this deity, there you go, Radha Raman Ki Jai. This is the original deity still in Vrindavan. Because he was quite small, he's probably about maybe 18 inches at the very, very most. The Mughals didn't interfere with Radharaman. So this original deity is still there in Vrindavan. Very, very beautiful deity. Extraordinarily beautiful. And so Radharamanji is truly bound by love. Now, literally speaking as well, when Radharamanji manifested from the Damodar Shila, because if you remember, Damodar means one who's tied by rope. And this Leela is what we celebrate during the month of Damodar, Kartik Mas. So the original markings of the Shila appeared under his waist, the same place he would have been bound by the ropes in Damodar Leela. So if you can see here, there's a marking of the rope. Hence why this Damodar Sila manifests himself like this. Radharaman Ji is Radha and Krishna combined. The temple still, however, worships the holy name of Radha next to Radharaman's deity. Gopal Bhatt asked the brother of his first disciple, Gopinath, his name was Damodar, to get married and continue the lineage of the Goswamis who worship at the temple. And that lineage to this day continues. They have many, many, many families. They take turns in worshipping. Sometimes their worship doesn't come for a year or two.
A couple of years, yeah.
A couple of years.
So I think they have a 6-month worship period.
Is it 6 months? Is it that long?
So
okay. So Damodar was initiated by Gopal Bhatt and given the name Damodar Das Goswami. So that's it, I think. Yes, Gopal Bhatt ki jai. Any questions or any comments?
So, yes, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Naniben.
Yes, hello there. So the land and lineage which is continuing now of the Gopal Bhatt, but it's actually, he asked the brother of his disciple, and those are who are still praying or who are still doing the worship, deity worship at the temple.
yes.
Yeah.
Not Gopal Bhatt family, isn't it?
No, he never married.
Yes.
Gopal Bhatt
Okay.
never married.
Okay.
So his first disciple, Gopinath, who he met on the way to...
Right, go on the way to, yes. Okay.
So his brother Damodar was initiated. And actually their standard of worship is regarded as very high level. Prabhupada would say to the devotees early on, go and see and learn from the Radha-Raman pujaris how to worship the deity. So this was all, Gopal Bhatt Goswami, he also wrote the manuals for the deity worship, and his disciples continued with the tradition even to this day. So that lineage is still there from 500 years ago. Quite extraordinary, actually, very extraordinary. And that's one of the most glorious temples in Vrindavan. You go there and you have darshan of Radharaman. You know your life has become successful.
And this deity it's always changing as well. Sometimes you can see a tooth as well, and a bigger smile as well on the face as well.
Janaki gives the best classes on this.
Yeah.
I should have invited her. Oh no, she's working.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavad, Nitai Gaur.
Srila.
Yes, Prabhu, I would like to share a verse.
Okay.
Yes, in Prem Dham Devastotram, we have one verse as follows. Ranganath Bhata Bhakti Tushta Bhangi Bhashanam Lakshma Gamya Krishna Rasa Gopikaika Poshanam Lakshma Bhista Krishna Sirsa Sadhya Sadhanakaram Premadhama Devam Evanomi Gaura Sundaram. So in this verse, Gauranga Mahaprabhu explained to Srila Venkata Bhatt, the father of Gopala Bhatt, that Lakshmi Devi she's doing tapasya to be able to get entrance to join Rasa Leela. But only the gopis are able to enact the Rasa Leela. So Lakshmi Devi she is doing tapasya like that because there is spiritual gradation.
Mm.
Krishna consciousness, there is spiritual gradation. So the worship of Lakshmi Narayan is in Vidhi Marg, with rules and regulations, majestic worship.
Mm.
Yes. So then our Guru Varga, especially Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, is advising and directing us to worship original Krishna, Govindam
Mm.
Purusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Mm.
Original Krishna, Govindam Purusham Tamaham Bhajami, is the source of all incarnations.
Yes,
Yes, even Narayana.
that's
So
right.
also Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he is emphasizing that we should develop attachment and love and affection for original Swayam Bhagwan Sri Krishna, Vrindavan Krishna, Sham Sundar Krishna, Radha Sham Sundar. And if we develop attachment and love and affection for Lakshmi Narayan, then he says that we will be hurled down from Goloka Vrindavan to Vaikuntha Lok.
Kunta, yeah.
So he says he is directing us to worship original Krishna, Swayam Bhagavan Krishna, so that it is complete. Worship of original Krishna, Govindam Adi Purusham Tamam Bhajami, is includes all the incarnations, Matsya Avatar, Vara Avatar, Nrsimha Avatar, everybody is
Absolutely.
worshipping original Supreme Person of Godhead, Govindam Adi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. In Brahma Samhita, there is one verse like that. Narayana sa Bhagavan apastasmat sanatanat avirashit karanano nidhi sankar sanatmakaha yoga nidram gatastasmin sahasram sa swayam mahan. Mahavishnu is known as Narayana in the mundane world. From this eternal personality, the water of the causal ocean is born, a plenary portion of Sankarsana of the Paravyoma, with thousands upon thousands of plenary expansions, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Male. For his divine sleep, Yoga Nidra, he reclines upon those waters of the causal ocean. Nitai Gaur Hari Gaur.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Absolutely.
Dandavad, Hare Krishna.
Krishna's to Bhagwan Swayam.
Yes,
Bhagavatam explains. So
yes.
we
Thank you.
aim for the highest. And one who worships by Narayan, Vishnu, nothing wrong because they're the supreme, but they will never reach Golok in the first place. Vaikuntha is where they will reside and stop. But hopefully the devotees of Krishna, they'll go all the way to Golok. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Nitai
A-
Gaur Hari.
Anybody else? Anything else?
Prabhuji,
Yes, anyway.
devotees who reach Vaikuntha, they also never come back, isn't it? They never
Correct.
Yes. So,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
And those who love Lakshmi Narayan or Lakshmi Vishnu in that mood of awe and reverence, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
That's their mood. That's fantastic. No problem with that.
Yeah.
But this
sorry.
this movement, it is from all the way from Madhavendra Puri. The encouragement is that we worship Radha and Krishna in their original form.
And also, all spiritual masters are also like manjaris.
Yeah.
So related more to Radharani and servants of Radharani.
Yeah, good point.
And
Hare Krishna.
Sorry, Naniben has another point. 1 second, Indulekamaji. 1 second.
like Krishna did his leelas, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, same as Krishna. Did he do any leelas like what Krishna did? Or I know he gave the Maha Mantra and very sympathetic and kind for the fallen souls, but did he do the leelas like Krishna?
Not the Ras Leela, no.
No, not Ras Leela.
No.
Or his pastimes or...
Yeah, loads of pastimes. And
Loads of pastimes,
I'm
okay.
thinking after we finish Bhagavatam, we will go into Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Yes, that would be nice.
And yeah, and there's so many pastimes that Mahaprabhu performed, which are very enlightening, actually.
Okay.
Thank you for asking.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Indulekamaji.
Hare Krishna. Annapurna is another name for Parvati also, no? Annapurna Devi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the mountain is named after Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, not after Parvati.
I don't know. That might have been the original name of that mountain. No idea. No idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Rohit, anything you want to say? No. Okay.
I think it's that issues.
Okay. So thank you very much. Gopal Bhatt Goswami ki jai.